I told this mistake that was mind-boggling today. A lot of contractors accidentally ruin their balance sheet, not because they are losing money, but because they're counting it too early. They list future contracts as account receivable and then wonder why the lender says this doesn't add up. And this is something that happened today. I recently worked with a contractor who showed 400,000 in accounts receivable. And then when we looked closer, 300,000 of it was in new contracts that he hadn't started yet. Now, on paper, it looked like his business was owed almost a half a million, but in reality, his receivable was only 100,000. Now, that error made his current ratio look strong, but the moment a lender reviewed it, it saw inflated assets and flagged it as risky. Now, it's like showing a lender a check you might get somewhere someday, but versus a check already in hand. Now, there's a different way to showcase all these opportunities that you have and be able to get the funding that you need. And the truth is that lenders, investors don't count signed contracts as asset until the work is performed or the product is delivered. So when you mark them as owed, you're overstating the assets and misrepresenting your financial health. Now, that's when that mistake can take your funding. It's because lenders care about liquidity, not hope. And when they see inflated receivables, they don't think growth, they think uncertainty. So even worse, it just causes confusion in your income and your balance sheet connection, and revenue shows up without matching cost of goods sold. That's a red flag. So instead of miscategorizing it with future contracts, here's what you can do. You can create what's called a projected income chart. And actually I've created one for you, and it's a spreadsheet that you can change for your benefit. If you notice here, it says the customer listed here. This is who you're doing work for, uh, potentially either ideally a contract or it's something that you're bidding on with, right? Because even though you say we have the revenue in, but who's it with, right? And what's the type of job? What's the type of contract? What's the type of purchase order that you're doing? So you put that there. And then this column here, you said projected gross revenue. So what is the dollar amount for that contract, that purchase order, that estimate that you're doing, right? What is that? And then the cost associated with that. So in other words, what's the cost of goods sold for that? What are the costs that is associated with producing that revenue? So is there, so sometimes you with a purchase order, you have a supplier that provides that good. And then maybe you have to install it, right? So not only the cost associated with that good, but also the cost associated with the labor in order to again generate that revenue and the net income. So the net income of that job or project. So what is after you have the gross amount, right? Let's just say it's 100,000 and it's only cost you 50,000, maybe it's 20,000 and 20,000 in labor, and then the equipment is 30,000. That's 50,000. So then your net income would be what? 50,000, right? 100,000 minus 50,000 is 50,000. And projected date to start. So when are you contracted to start? When If you've already started the job, then you would put the past date, right? And then when do you plan on or when you plan on completing it? Or when are you contracted to complete it? right? So that's what you would put there. And then the payment schedule. So you see above it says progress billing or payment at completion. So which one is it? So progress billing, it means that if you are completed on a contract, maybe 20% of that contract, and they allow you to bill at 20%, then you just put progress billing and then put what that is. I know for our real estate ARV product on the real estate side, we usually do draws in thirds. So you put hey in thirds, say progress billing in thirds. And this is a great thing about the spreadsheet. You can change it to what you need. And payment of completion is once the work, or if it's a purchase order, and once your supplier delivers it and then it's done, then that's it, right? And then payment at completion. Now, getting the job done is one thing, but then when do you actually collect? So you see where it says terms and up the top it says net. So is that meaning that net 10, net 15, net 30, net? I had one client, unfortunately, was net 90 days. And contracted, yes or no. So does that means that is this opportunity a meaning that you've already contracted it, or is it something that you think you're going to do? And then have you been paid for this thing already? Maybe, some people put like past opportunities on here to kind of showcase what you've done. But like this is more of a projected so that you been paid on the deposit, or is there a deposit? Yes or no? And you could just change this however, but but the whole goal in this is to show the opportunities that you have, and it really helps to support your financial projections. And I'll show you how. One way that it will show and help you show. So again, what I want to do is so you have this gross amount. Let's just say you have a job, and then you're saying when you're going to have that particular job. Well, on the financial projections here. So typically, when you have a financial projections, it just says, well, hey, I'm generating X amount of money on month one, and then month two, and then month three. But where's the income coming from? Meaning that what are the opportunities and jobs that support this revenue? Obviously, the cost of goods sold would be here. You got like merchandise, maybe labor, where you can break it out. Here it doesn't necessarily break it out, but you can. So, but let's just say you have customer A and you're doing on a month one, and the customer B is month two, then you can see exactly how it is adding up to what is being put on the financial projections. And that's basically want to see how is your revenue. So another how you getting your revenue, how you getting your revenue. And that is really big. Now, the sales assumption will show, how many units and that kind of stuff per month, and or how many contracts, how many opportunities. But this is the key document to support this revenue. So again, how are you getting each on a month? And you can clearly see based on your projected income chart how you're making that revenue. Well, if you want this spreadsheet, definitely comment and then look at the show notes below how to get it, or maybe we'll put a link or down there below. But comment that you want this, and then we'll get this to you to help support the revenue and the hard work that you're doing. All right, appreciate you.